most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together
therapist.
we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Once again, it's been a couple months maybe because this was a future video. We are joined by Dr. Adriaan Louw. Dr. Adriaan Louw is a pain expert. He's actually originally from South Africa.
That's
You'll
correct.
be able to detect the accent. And I'm going to have you, Dr. Louw, explain your background so that we can let
sure.
people know why they should listen to you.
I think the best way, I haven't even said it for that matter, is I was a failing therapist. I was taught very mechanically, physical therapist, and tried to fix pain, if you will, with a lot of mechanical stuff, and then became a little struggled with it, and then
Sure.
I started taking this thing on pain and learning about pain, taught by very smart people. Loved it so much I decided to study it, and so now, 10 years of research, lots of research studies, working with people, training students. We've just figured out the more we learn about pain, the better we are. We're more caring and compassionate, but also our patients' lives are better for it. So we're studying pain. We're working with people in clinics.
He's being very modest because he's studied under some of the best therapists in the world. I mean, some of the guys that, they're icons in our field.
Right,
And you're not going to know their names, but believe me, trust me on this one. So yeah, as a starting point, for some of you, after you watch the video, you may want to check out some of his books. He's got a lot of books on specific problems, like if you're having back pain, they all kind of carry a common thread.
Yeah.
But in today's book, you may want to, might be your Fibromyalgia Workbook, which I have recommended to a lot of patients, by the way.
Yeah, these books are all written for the layperson, for the patient, so you can read it and self-treat and take care of yourself through that knowledge.
Maybe you want to just briefly go over how the approach of these books.
Yeah, a lot of it is just we have learned a lot about pain in the last 20 years, and especially the neuroscience, the science behind the nervous system, the brain. And so you're right, there are common themes. We teach people how pain works, but then literally go in directions. There's definitely differences. Like in fibromyalgia, we get widespread pain, where back pain may be more localized and then slowly spread to a side, or etc. But there's science behind it, and we just went and studied the science and put it in a language, in a format where patients can read it and go, wow, that makes sense. And again, understanding everybody's pain is different, but there is a commonality, and we just try and spread that theme. Many of our patients will write us back and say, you know what, this is good. It's not exactly me, but it's okay because everybody's different, but it's all right. It gives us a foundation, and then we can work from there on out. Yeah.
Let's say a typical fibromyalgia patient comes in, somebody with fibromyalgia. Can you maybe talk about what you'd start with, or maybe some of the common problems that you see in specific to common fibromyalgia?
Yeah, and I if you don't mind, and I'm your
you go
guest.
what direction you want to go.
I'm your guest today, but I want to correct you because I don't like the term fibromyalgia patient.
I agree. I said that wrong.
Yeah, we don't
patient
identify
with fibromyalgia.
Exactly.
Yes.
We do not want to identify people.
I caught myself, but
I know.
And so he's absolutely correct.
And I mean no disrespect, but I
no, it's not a total hip patient. It's not a
it's a patient with a hip replacement. So when a patient comes with fibromyalgia, first of all, we have taught our receptionists in our clinic, when somebody calls in and say, hey, do you guys see fibromyalgia in your clinic? Do you guys treat it? The most common thing I've taught my receptionists is what you just heard is, I hurt, I'm tired. I've been everywhere. I probably don't sleep well. Can you guys help me? And I'm not making fun of it. I'm not removing the label, but there's this common theme we find. So when patients come to us, first of all, we screen them, make sure we're not missing anything. But I will ask patients, since developing fibromyalgia, let's call it Susie, right? Susie, since developing fibromyalgia, what's the biggest thing that bothers you? And they will say things like, I'm really tired. My stomach is very sensitive. I got this mental fatigue. We call it often the brain fog. Since developing fibromyalgia, my brain gets tired. I cannot focus. I can read one page in a book and I'm tired. And we now know there's science behind it. We then take that science, put it in a story and say, let me explain that to you. So for a patient that comes and says, since developing fibromyalgia, I'm mentally tired. I cannot focus and concentrate, or they forget things. And heaven forbid nowadays if you go to your doctor and say forget things, because now we have these catastrophic, I've got dementia, I've got Alzheimer's, right? So
exactly.
So here's what we do know. When you've got pain, there are 9 areas in the human brain that's always busy. We call it the brain meeting. So if I reach over with Brad and I punch him in the arm and I can quickly scan his brain, there are 9 little dots in the brain. He'll probably have a go at me. There are 9 areas in the brain that will quickly meet. And this is what our brain scans, all these fancy blob scans show. There are 9 departments in the brain that meet. Hey guys, ding, 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 there's a major threat at Brad's left arm. It's called this crazy South African. He just punched him in the arm. We got to meet about this. These 9 areas light up in patients with fibromyalgia, back pain, ankle sprains, about every person. They talk to each other and they come to a conclusion. And what we now know is when the brain gets busy with pain, other jobs suffer.
Sure.
So this is how we tell patients, Susie, in your brain, there are 9 departments. There's a movement department, there's a focus department, there's a memory department, there's 9 departments. In every department, there are 4 people working, so it's fully staffed. I'm a physical therapist, so I say raise your arm. So the movement department is fully staffed. So this is what you do. You raise your arm beautifully up. The brain now sits and says, guys, we're struggling. We went to the Mayo Clinic, we went to this therapy clinic, we went to this clinic, we're not getting any better. We're going to have an emergency pain meeting this afternoon. So one person from every department needs to come because pain is really important. Without pain, we'd be dead. So it takes precedence. So now suddenly there's 3 people doing the work of 4. So I ask you to raise your arm and you do stuff like this. Not because you're making it up, not because you're lazy, not because you don't want to get better. Your brain is prioritizing. So now the brain is a pain meeting. So what suffers? Movement, focus, concentration, memory, all the things we see the brain has to do. If you keep going from doctor to doctor and pain's not getting better, you're not getting help, the brain says, we still don't have it figured out. We need another person to come to the meeting. So what happens is memory goes down. Focus becomes limited. All these things we see. And what happens, the brain gets busy with pain. Now let's flip it around. When we sit with patients and explain to them what's going on, there's nothing catastrophically wrong with you. Do you hurt? Yes, you do. We validate them and say, I know you're hurting, but we can make you better. We work through this process. The brain starts getting smarter and go, hey, this guy with a funny accent is making some sense. I'm not buying all of it yet, but I'll send one person back to the department. So what gets better? Movement gets better, focus, memory, etc. What it means for somebody with pain like fibromyalgia is, you mean this can get better, Adriaan? Yes, ma'am. We need to understand 30 years ago, we believe the brain is the way it is. That's it. You take it or leave it. This thing is as plastic as it shifts every day. How cool is that? The biggest thing we can give patients is hope. You mean it's going to get better, Adriaan? Yes, ma'am. And how do we do it? We build through pacing graded exposure. So we build a program around this where maybe Susie reads a little bit and then she goes and she does some walking. Go walk a little bit, get some blood flowing through your body. Come back, read a little bit more. So we pace them and they can slowly get back to what they need to do. But those would be examples.
That's the education part of it.
Correct.
And again, through education, that starts decreasing the levels of people that feel that they need to be involved in the pain.
Yeah.
So when you see a patient with fibromyalgia and we start working these steps, is this something that may take a week, a month, or it depends on the individual?
It depends, Brad. There's so many things here. We can see patients in a relatively short. A lot of it depends on where the person is when they walk into our clinic. Everybody's in a journey. Some people are at the beginning of their journey, some people towards the end of their journey. They're a very interesting case. But we will see these patients. It can take us weeks, it can take us months, and that's okay. We're there for them. There's no magic answer. It just we pace them through the process. Many of our patients, we get really to a good point, and they may come back a little bit later on for a little top up, if you will, almost like the dentist, right? Come back. Let's just check you out, make sure you're good.
Yeah, sure. Do you do the education process through the book, or do you do some through talking, some through the book, some through I don't know,
so my publisher is going to get really mad at me, right? Because I don't use the books because I memorize them. I wrote them, right?
Sure.
So what I typically do in a clinic is I have a whiteboard and I draw and I write because it's more realistic. It's for me. It's not just where I sit and go through a cookbook.
Sure.
What's nice about the book is for people that have no background, this is a good place to start. Even clinicians will write me and say, you know what, the patient book helped me understand. They learn the verbiage.
It helped me? That's exactly right.
Yeah, the students sit in our class and they literally would read and read and read and read and read. But as we get better, all it is a conversation. But we write things like, I'll give them a marker and say, Susie, write down for me the 10 things that since developing fibromyalgia bothers you, fatigue, memory, whatever, and I'll talk her through it. Then we make a list. And then we put a big mark, say, this is your lion. This entered your life. Now your life is, the system is ramped up. So we do it in real time, but more as let's talk about this. So
is it fair to say, like, let's say I'm from Lukenbach, Texas, and
is that a real place?
It's a song, believe it or not. I've got fibromyalgia, and I want to get better, obviously. So can I start with your book, and then how would I find someone that's trained in pain neuroscience.
Yeah, the good news is, first of all, you can always start with the book. Again, it is limiting, right? Books have never changed the world drastically when it comes to health, but it gives you a foundation. It's always good to have a healthcare provider. The good news is I've been teaching for 20 years. I've trained, I would argue, close to 100,000 people.
Seriously?
We have,
Oh my
for the
gosh.
last 20 years at CSM, you sit and there's at least 2,000 people in the audience.
No
We
kidding.
go all over the world. And so there's an
Wow.
army out there. I think the message for patients is there are armies out there. It could be as simple as calling your local therapist, asking, do you guys do pain neuroscience education or explain pain, if you will? If not, they can get a hold of us. We have a massive network. We get inundated daily. Hey, do you know a therapist here? Do you know a therapist there? Absolutely. Let's find you somebody. We're teaching in medical schools. We're teaching in PA schools. We're teaching in about pain is bigger than one profession. So we're in OT schools. There's a huge movement occurring. There are stuff on YouTube. You guys are here. We're talking about it today. People may watch us going, wow, that makes sense. Let's just slowly find that people accordingly along the path.
I imagine you are moving internationally then too.
Oh, we've taught in numerous countries. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I was someone interested and I've got your book, but I want to find a therapist who's has this background, can you go to a website?
Yeah, so our website, evidenceinmotion.com, is where our training, that's where our instructors, our pain team has about 35 instructors that travel all over the world teaching people. And so we will go on there and you can literally have a chat and they can ask them, hey, I need a therapist in blah. And they will instantly tell you, hey, there's a patient,
It's
there's a
interesting
therapist
because we
there.
get that question a
Yeah.
lot.
You said evidence
Evidence in motion.
Evidenceinmotion.com.
We'll have the link below.
Yeah,
we've
and
already
so
worked on that,
we would
so
love to just hook you up with a local therapist, and yeah, absolutely.
it's a great place to start.
Right.
So I think we're actually finishing on time here. So thanks again for coming, Dr. Louw,
You're welcome.
and appreciate
Brad.
all your
Thank you
knowledge.
so
And
much.
you can check out his work below.